Hey y'all, here's how to create a textured stone effect using baking soda and your choice of paint. You can use this on whatever surface you prefer. This was my first attempt at using it with my kids' old vitamin container. For our first craft, we'll be making the stone picture frame, and I'm using Apple Barrel's Khaki and Waverly Chalk Paint's Plaster White. As far as how much is needed, I would suggest using more baking soda than paint. The more baking soda you use, the more texture it will have, and the more paint you use, the less texture. So to be sure you get the right consistency that you want, just keep adding little by little. Once it has a gritty and kind of sandy look like this, you can move on to the next step. I cut my frame out of cardboard scraps using my box cutter. I made them longer than my acrylic sheet. You can trim them up later as needed. You're going to load up your paintbrush pretty heavy and brush it onto your cardboard, but with short brush strokes in different directions to create a textured look so that it isn't completely smooth unless you prefer it to look more smoothly. You will set that aside to allow partial drying, then brush back over it again to create more texture if needed. This is optional, of course. Usually it takes about an hour to fully dry. So while that dries, we can create our picture for our frame. I cut my cardboard the same size as my acrylic sheet, and I'm covering it with burlap for a cozy rustic theme. Now to bring out my dried pressed flower collection. You can press your own or buy flowers on Amazon. You can also use a printable or a photo if you prefer for this part instead. I'm just adding a little dab of hot glue to hold my flowers in place, and now we can remove the protective cover on our acrylic sheet. You could also use plastic from a fresh fruit container or plastic wrap for this instead. The static was trying to lift my flowers up here. Thankfully the glue held them down for the most part. And now I'm just adding a thin line of glue along the sides to hold it in place. And finally, we can add our stone frame. And here's a close-up of the texture. I think this looks so pretty. I start with gluing the frames on the sides first, and then we can trim up our final pieces for the top and bottom and glue those on the corners. So this was really pretty as is. This was a lot less texture than my previous green one, but I still love it. However, me being me, I wanted to try to make it a little more rustic and darken it a bit, so I'm using my distressed ink and just roughly going over the frame and just smudging that in to give it a more aged look. Again, this is optional, but y'all, I love it even more. So for our next craft, we're making pumpkins. This one is super simple and basically the same steps for the stone effect. The only difference is I'm testing out using strictly apple barrel paint to see how it does. Chalk paint is already pretty thick, so to me it's easier to work with for these types of crafts. The acrylic paint made it a little more challenging just because it's thinner and required more coats. I added a lot of baking soda to mine so you can see how gritty and thick mine is. And I cut out my pumpkin shape using my box cutter, and again just loading up my paintbrush and trying to spread it out to cover all of the cardboard. I was having trouble with this one adhering to the cardboard, but you can always add more in those spaces as you go. I ran out of my mixture, so I had to make a little bit more of it, and I made it with more paint this time to fill in those spaces. I really wanted to test out carving a face into my pumpkin, so we're making this one a jack-o'-lantern using a wooden dowel. You can also use a pencil for this instead. The mouth was the hardest part, but you can fix it by adding a clump of the mixture where you want the teeth to be to fix that. I know it's really early for Halloween, but I think this is so cute. And while that dries, we're going to make a white pumpkin, so I'm using my Waverly chalk paint for this one and my baking soda and just mixing that together. And you can kind of see what I mean here of how much easier it is to spread this one out and to work with this one. So a chalk-based paint does a lot better for this type of craft, but if acrylic paint is all you have on hand, that will work just fine as well, and you can still achieve the same look. Now that my pumpkins have mostly dried, I'm going to fill in the eyes and mouth of my little jack-o'-lantern. I kind of contemplated on using black or doing like an orange instead to make it look like it was glowing. I didn't really like how dark this looked, so I did add in a little bit of tan into here just to lighten it up a little bit. And I'm going to make the little stem out of a piece of burlap ribbon and just gluing that right onto the back side of it. And then just creating two little simple fall themed bows for both of my little pumpkins. I think that's such a cute little touch. I always love adding little bows to everything that I make. And here's a close-up of our orange pumpkin. You can see the texture and you'll see how it looks like it's carved with its little face. And I did end up gluing these two together so that they would stand up together. I could prop them against the wall. They're so cute and so easy to make. And for our final craft, we're making this beautiful sunflower. I already have my board stained in dark walnut. Now, if you don't have the ability to stain your board, you can just paint it black or paint it dark brown underneath and do the same effect and it'll have the same look. And I'm using a 3-inch paintbrush and Waverly Chalk Paints Plaster White, and I'm loading my brush up directly from my bottle, but you can use a piece of cardboard to load it instead. And we're just going to gradually brush over the sign with that. Some places you'll be heavier with your paint, and other places just try to barely touch the board. So that way you don't overpaint it and you don't fill in all that darkness in the background. So it still kind of shows through and has that rustic, distressed look. Now we're going to create our textured paint for our sunflower. So just the same process, you'll just have your paint and mix it with your baking soda. And I used my little mini box cutter to cut out a bunch of little petal shapes, just a bunch of different sizes. I didn't plan out how many either. I just cut as many as possible because I figured it'd be better to have too many than to have too little. And now we're just going to simply paint every one of these little petals. Now this was a little more tedious to do and I made a mess on my hands trying to do this, but that's okay. I did use more paint than baking soda, so it wasn't as textured as I wanted it to be. So when it was halfway dry, I just rubbed over it with my finger to give it a little more of a textured look. So I gave that some time to fully dry, and this is how they looked once they were completely dry. And y'all, I'm sorry, but this part I did kind of block the camera partially, so it's not really a good look at what I'm doing here, but you can just see I'm just gluing it directly onto the sign, and then I'm creating a little stem for my flower using some twine. So pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy to do. And then I'm just gluing on some buttons for the center of my sunflower. And this is how it looked once it's all complete. I think it turned out beautifully and perfect to mix into fall decor. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which craft you like best and if you plan to give the stone effect a try. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share with a crafty friend. And thank you so much for watching.